Hey, what's up everybody? This is your boy Kenny, and this is the Haves and the Have-Nots Season 6, Episode 30, and the name of this episode is Three's a Crowd. But before I get started with this review, I want to share something with you. A very close friend of mine named Phil, who lives in Philadelphia, he messaged me earlier today and told me about his 13-year-old cousin who has been missing for 2 days, and thank God, you know, the police have actually found her, but they've actually come to find out that she, you know, was following this guy on this app, and the man was 25 years old, and supposedly, you know, I think he was trying to take her and her friend, who I think is around the same age as her, and take them, you know, across state lines. So the reason why I want to bring this up is to put it out there that, you know, we really have to be careful. You know, definitely dealing with, you know, today's technology and social media. You know, we definitely need to be conscious and not be so quick to, you know, to follow, you know, well, what I'm trying to say is that, you know, we definitely have to be careful and not put ourselves in harmful situations. I mean, you know, 13 years old is very young, and for her to be following some man who's 25 is insane. And you know, I'm just happy that nothing has happened to this girl, or I don't know if something has happened, but thank God that they found her, but the guy is still on the loose. So this is a pre-warning to everybody: be careful, protect yourselves and each other. So let me get started with this review. Now, the episode picks up where it left off. You know, Roderick and Catherine decided to knock the boots up in the hotel room at the Artesian, you know, and you know, he's kind of like giving her the love speech, and she's kind of like, cut this shit, you know, what do you want? You know, now that we've had sex, you know, you want a promotion or something? And he's like, well, it sounds nice, but the reason why I did what I did is because I wanted to. You know, and he says, I know you noticed me at the board meetings and stuff. And she was like, really? You think I noticed? She's like, yeah. And I was definitely checking you out too, you know. But then he starts talking about Jim, is that Jim is an asshole and he doesn't deserve you. I mean, he is really laying it thick. But Catherine is kind of intrigued, but then again, she's also kind of playing it smart, because in all honesty, Catherine has been down this road before with men who only wanted her for her money, and yet this is exactly why Roderick is latching on to her, why he's willing to shut down the prostitution ring so he can make, you know, Catherine his main target. You know, but then she lets him know that, look, I'm liking this, but we need to do this at my own pace, and when I'm done, I'm done. So she's kind of letting it be known that we're not gonna have no more than just this little fling, you know, and we'll just ride it out until it lasts. But we all know that Roderick is literally trying to become, you know, he's trying to, you know, marry the money. But here it is, you know, she's getting dressed, and you know, and you know, and like, you know, he's, you know, flirting with her, telling her that she's beautiful and everything. And here it is, she lost one of her earrings, but then when they looked, it was like a back of the table, and there was all this dirt and stuff. You know, the place was dirty, and Catherine was mad. It's like, I invested a lot of damn money in this hotel. Why is this place filthy like this? Well, one, it's because they're running a prostitution ring through your hotel, sweetie. Ain't nobody trying to clean up shit. People trying to go in and unload and pull out and roll out. That's what the hell is going on up in your luxurious hotel, Mrs. Cryer. But then he found her earring, and it was amongst some nasty stuff. And she was like, I'm not putting that back in my ear. You know, I'll just have it cleaned. And he was like, oh no, I'll do it for you. And she's like, look, these $10K, and you know, but he's like, I have it clean. I'll take care of it for you. But then he says that, you know, there's a lack of leadership in the housekeeping department. So she's like, yeah, get this place cleaned up, and, you know, we'll definitely see each other when we see each other. So she goes to the elevator. But while she's at the elevator, she calls Catherine. Well, actually, Hannah calls Catherine, lets her know she's gonna be running late. And she said that, you know, she's that she's not. She said, well, don't worry about it because I'm not at home anyway. I'm at the Artesian Hotel. You know, I'm one of the main shareholders. You know, and she says, so I'm here to let you know that, hey, girl, if you ever want to get a room, you know, holla at your girl. I'm like, Catherine, you a mess. But then she says that I have something for you, that their housekeeping is really falling under par. I would like to bring you in as a supervisor to actually teach, you know, teach the team of how to clean in an orderly fashion. And she says that you'll be doing it as a supervisor and there's more money for you. So, but then she says, I'm just waiting for Benny to wake up so we can go to the bank. Then all of a sudden, the elevator opens, and we get the damn standoff between Catherine and Candace. You know, and she was like, well, Nine, well, Beast. I was like, man, they brought that shit back. You know, because I was always tickled every time Candace called Catherine a beast. Like when she one time was telling Jim, remember, you got to get the checkbook from the Beast. I was just cracking up at that shit. And pretty much she's like, what the hell are you doing here? She's like, well, it's a hotel. And she was like, I own it, bitch. And then Candace was like, I don't care, bitch. Like, they were literally just throwing jabs at each other. And pretty much she was saying that, well, it's no surprising that you're here. I mean, after all, you are a prostitute. And she's like, and that explains why you're here, Catherine. Like, they were just doing the most. They kept going back and forth. And she was like, bitch, don't try me because I'll throw your ass out of here. Then Candace was like, yeah, and I'll sue your ass for harassment and racism. Oh, she's like, oh, you really think you're really gonna try to pull that, you know, out of your sleeve? And Candace was like, yeah, that's one of many things I can do. You know, and she's saying that, you know, so she's like, so you're bothered, you know, because because your husband was one of my victims or whatever. And she's like, well, bitch, I don't care because he has many bitches that he talks to. And she said, and that explains why you're hostile. And she's like, no, I'm not hostile. You know, and if anything, Catherine ain't worried because Catherine just got her a piece of Roderick dick just a few moments ago before she ran into you, Candace. Little do you know. and then she was saying that, but you know, I'm over, you know, well, she's like, but she's saying, but then Candace was like, oh, I'm sorry, but Catherine was like, well, the thing is, you are a whore though, so I guess you don't know any better. She's like, oh, boo-boo, I've moved past being a whore. I'm blackmailing now. You know, and I've worked on my biggest scheme yet. You know, Candy, like Wyatt Candy. I'm like, Candace, let me explain something to you, girl. See, you're doing entirely too fucking much. Because at the end of the day, honey, Catherine, just a few seasons ago, literally killed Jennifer Salison and had her high heels pointing, you know, to the North Star after she done put a few bullets in her chest because she wouldn't give back Wyatt's inheritance. And now you're still trying to play this game? Like, boo-boo, she pretty much says that, and she tells Candace, you better play it well. So Catherine got her sights on Candace. Like, Candace, you can think what you want about Catherine, but Catherine's a dangerous bitch. Catherine is the type of bitch that will walk through the front door and fuck you up. She ain't gonna hire somebody to handle you. She'll handle you herself. So she's just as gangster and just as grimy as you are, Candace. So you may have just met your match there. I mean, after all, we did remember a few seasons ago when after Amanda's funeral, you know, Catherine had clocked her in the head and shit. So But then we see after Candace leaves, she hits that elevator door. She's mad as hell. I'm like, Catherine, you better stop fucking with Catherine. You know, make sure you stay away from the wine bottles and make sure there's no weapons around. Then we get a scene at the hospital. We see that Jeffrey and Madison reconnect, and he asks Jeffrey out for coffee. Then we see that Jeffrey goes in to check on his father. He's still on a lot of heavy pain meds, but he's able to sit up, and he's definitely going to be in the hospital for quite some time. But then he asks Jeffrey to do a favor, to go to his house and find Erica's things, and see if you can find some family members that we can get in contact with to let them know what happened to her. And they talk about how he really liked her, and and he was saying that and pretty much he asked Jeffrey, did you tell the FBI that your mother did this? And he was like, yeah. And he was like, yeah, I said the same thing, but they're not going to find any evidence because you know how your mother is. But then Jeffrey's like, well, she still has to pay for this. She shouldn't get away with this. I mean, she should be in prison. And he was like, you really want to put your mother in prison? He was like, yeah. And he was like, shoot, she can reach out, the jail just like she can reach in the jail. She got mad fucking connections. A jail ain't gonna hold her ass. I'm like, yeah, she's kind of like the Black Mariah and Luke Cage. You're gonna have to end that bitch to stop her, because she is not only intrinsically evil, but she's insane. I was just looking for another word to use. That's why I stumbled. But yeah, she's fucking insane. So there's no reasoning with her ass. She is on a path, and no one's going to deter her from it. And whatever she thinks is what it is, even though what she's thinking and what she believes is not in current reality at all. But that's Veronica Harrington for your ass. So then he also asks Jeffrey about that damn situation, meaning Justin. And he was like, everything's fine. I'm like, Jeffrey, shut up, you lying bitch. Ain't nothing fine, because you obviously, I think you're keeping Justin around because you like the attention. Because ain't nobody been that crazy over your simple ass. And you like the attention. You like the fact that he's doing all this shit, even though it's getting on your nerves and it's really pissing you off. A part of you likes the bullshit. And it's kind of like, that's the trait he got from, his father. Him being in that marriage with Veronica all that time, dealing with all of her bullshit, dealing with all of her abuse and her, her nastiness. It's like Jeffrey's doing the same shit. And I think he does have feelings for Justin, but, he's afraid of walking away. But then we come to find out that, so how about that guy Madison? I heard he went to school with you. Yeah, he likes you. You guys should go out for coffee. So Jeffrey puts it together and was like, oh, so you encouraged him to ask me out? He was like, look, he's a nice person, and after all that you've been through, you really need a nice person to help you through this. So yeah, you should go out and hang out with him. And he pretty much tells Jeffrey to go on and everything. And so when he goes out, him and Madison decide to go have, coffee together. Then we get a scene with Hannah and Derek. Benny's still not up, but she's making sure that she got everything together, because she's on the way to the bank to wire the money back to the Criers. Finally Benny's up, and pretty much she's like, okay, come on, Benny, we gotta go to the bank. And he was like, that's a lot of money, mama. And he's like, I mean, come on, mom, it is Candace's money. And she's like, this money does not belong to Candace. What the hell are you talking about? So Benny is now going on the bullshit, and he now wants to be on some ratchet bullshit. I mean, to tell you the truth, Hannah, your son is just as grimy and can be just as treacherous as your damn daughter. I don't know why you think that Benny is like this guardian angel. No, Benny is just as much of a fuck up as Candace is. And it's for some odd reason Hannah don't want to see that crap. And it bugs me. Like, Hannah, your son is ratchet just like your damn daughter. I mean, they both will screw somebody over. They both got, you know, are hot, you know, to jump in bed with anything. You know, shoot, he got a hot dick and she got a hot puss, and they put it to use. The only thing is that Benny is just not as smart and strategic as Candace, but Benny be on that bullshit, and we constantly see that Benny's on some bullshit. Benny has been in so much craziness throughout the, you know, the whole season, and Hannah still thinks she has that control, and I'm like, no, you know, and you know, and he's saying that, look, we need to give them all the money back. He's like, do we got to give it all back? And she's like, hell yeah. And she's like, look, I don't want you to end up like your sister. Too late. He already is like your daughter. But then he was like, well, what? But Mom, what if it's true? What if somebody's trying to kill her? And she's like, boy, please. She probably sent that man over here. She's like, well, how do you know that? I'm like, yeah, you know it because Candace told you. She's like, and if anything, Hannah knew because we saw in the last episode, Candace kind of threw that bone out there that she did send no boy over there. And she said if she didn't get the money back, she'll send somebody to her house every single night to fuck with her. So Hannah ain't dumb, but he don't know about that conversation that you know, when Candace came over while he was sleeping. So she pretty much tells him that, look, cut the bullshit, put on your shoes, we going to the bank. And then Derek decides that he's going to stay back, you know, to wait for the police. And of course, Benny was telling me something, oh, come on, man. And she's like, boy, go get in the damn car. I'm like, doing the most. So then we see that Jeffrey and Madison are having lunch. They're reconnecting. And we actually see that there's some good chemistry. And Madison is gorgeous. Like, he's really attractive. And he pretty much tells, you know, Jeffrey that you got a beautiful smile. And he's like, are you flirting with me? And he's like, it's okay. He's like, yeah. I'm like, Jeffrey, you messy bitch. You know you got Psycho Cunt, a.k.a. Glenn Close, you know, pretty much on your tail. Everywhere you go, this bitch pops up. You know, it's like she is always ready to pull a stunt and show her ass every time you in a situation. That bitch just pops up. And he was like, you know, I really wanted to see you again. And he's like, you know, even in school, I always wanted to hang out with you. And here we are. And he's like, you ever want to go to the movies? You know, and he was like, well, I don't know about that. And I'm like, see, you playing these fucking games, Jeffrey. You know, but then he was like, so is it because of your investigation? And he's like, what investigation? He says that cop told me that you were under investigation. Is that true? And Jeffrey was like, no, that ain't true. And he was like, well, is he with you? I mean, are you guys lovers? I mean, and he was like, well, kind of. I'm like, see, it's this undecisiveness that makes me want to beat Jeffrey's ass. You need to make a decision and stop the bullshit. But then next thing you know, he was like, well, kind of. And then, you know, Madison was like, well, that explains it because he was asking me all these damn weird questions, you know, and, you know, it was kind of like somewhat uncomfortable or whatever. And then all of a sudden we see Glenn Close walk in, aka Justin, and come in there with the damn mad face all up in Madison's face. I'm like, first of all, you disrespectful piece of shit. Didn't nobody invite you to shit? But here it is, he just sat his ass there and was just grilling Madison. It's like, I've been calling you. And then Jeffrey was like, I know. He's like, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to you. And he's like, well, yeah, but unfortunately, I don't answer unknown numbers. I'm like, you better get his ass, Madison. Like, you know. And then he's like, and then Jeffrey was like, well, I gotta go. I'm just gonna see you later. And he's like, okay, Jeffrey. And then he was like, and then he was like, okay. And then he's like, Justin, get your ass up from the table. He's like, I'm not leaving. He's like, Justin's like, I said I'm staying. I'm like, see, now this bitch suspended. Now she just making everybody life hell with her spoiled, sorry ass. I mean, I wanted to slap the dog shit out of Glenn Close. Because first of all, and then afterwards, you know, then Madison was like, well, I'm going to leave too. He's like, huh, how convenient. Oh, really? First of all, you two sat there with lunch. I would have sat there and ate my food, and that bitch would have gotten the fuck up, because didn't nobody invite her ass to sit her stinking ass down there to start some shit. So, if anything, Madison and Jeffrey should have teamed up on his ass and be like, you get your punk ass out of here, because didn't nobody invite your ass. And you coming over there starting shit just because you feel some kind of way, because you, in your delusional mind that Jeffrey's your man, but yet you still want to be in the closet even though everybody knows your business. If you don't get your psychotic, stupid ass on somewhere, woo, he be blowing me. I'm like, something need to happen with Justin. Tyler, you need to do something to this fool, because I am like literally pulling out my hair every time Justin comes into the scene, because I'm like, here you go on that damn Glenn Close Fatal Attraction bullshit. But alright, let's move it on. So then we see Veronica is still working with the hitman that blew up the car with Erica and David. You know, he's pretty much asking, you know, for his money or whatever. She's saying, oh, the FBI, you know, is investigating me and they're looking at my house, so in a few days I'll have something for you. You know, and he was like, I'm surprised they haven't run your license plate. And he was like, look, I ain't got no radar or no database. Nobody has nothing on me. But then she says, but in the meantime, I got another job for you. You know, so he like cleaning her pool and everything. And you can tell he want to get at Veronica, because Hitman fine though. But yeah, he definitely got it in for Veronica's ass. But then she's like, I got another job for you. You know, there's this dude that works at the Artesian Hotel. He's a bartender named RK. I sent him to befriend my son. I want you to go kill him and then frame it them looking like my son killed him. You know, and she's like, damn, what kind of person would want to do that to their own child? And she was like, look, I love my son, but the problem is that I need to get my son, you know, my challenge right now with my son is getting him to do what I want him to do. And bitch, what you want him to do is be straight. Something he will never be, because he's not. The man's gay. Let it go. Like, boo-boo, out of all the shit you've done, he still keep running after those boys. Yes, right, that dying. Like, come on now, like, boo, stop. And she's just so set on this shit. And then while he's cleaning the pool, there's a doorbell, and there's this woman who's a part of this organization that actually helps, you know, young girls in foster care. And she was like, oh, that's amazing. And Veronica has been given a lot of money, you know, as charity to this organization. And she was like, you know, I will actually like to meet your girls, and then one of the girls could come live with us. So here it is. She's trying to bring in another Melissa to trap Jeffrey into being straight. And I'm like, Veronica, you deserve all the hell you get, bitch, because you're still trying to act like you're God, and you think you can change the sexuality of your son because you can't accept the fact that your son is gay. Bitch, get over it. You know, you can click your heels 3 times and say there's no place like home. That shit ain't gonna fucking change. He's still gonna be gay. I mean, jazz hands. Doing the most. So then we get back at the Catherine's house. Jim is there. You know, Wyatt is literally being followed by these guards or whatever. When he gets into his room, he calls Jeffrey, you know, and Jeffrey's like, you know, yeah, I'm back here with my parents. And, you know, the thing about it, Jeffrey was still talking to Madison when he picked up the phone. So, yeah, he left with Madison and just left, you know, Glenn Close sitting there looking all, you know, bent out the face and stupid. So, I have to give him credit for that. But, Jeffrey, you need to man the fuck up. You need to handle that bitch. I mean it. So, he gets on the phone with Wyatt. Wyatt lets him know that, you know, my parents got me in here trapped like a criminal. You know, they got these guards on me. And you know, Jeffrey's like, look, they're trying to help you. And And then like he was saying that he was like, yeah, it's like they just it's just like they took me out of jail and put me in another one. And then Jeffrey's like, oh, speaking of jail, Justin told me he saw you. He's like, yeah, he did. He's like, well, what happened? He's like, what do you mean what happened? I'm like, did he do anything inappropriate to you? Like, did he touch you or something? He was like, no. And he's like, well, that's funny because, you know, because thing is, Wyatt ain't being completely honest with him. But then Jeffrey was like, well, he had told me that you were trying to come on to him and shit. He's like, that lying son of a bitch. You know, and he was like, look, you know, you need to get away from that dude. I mean, you know, that tool is no good for you. And he was like, yeah, I'm doing it, you know, slowly but surely. I'm like, no, you need to end it now and stop bullshitting with your punk ass. You know, and then he actually tells him that, you know, he asks Jeffrey where he is. He lets him know he's at the hospital. And he's like, well, why are you there? He's like, oh, you haven't heard that my dad, you know, my dad's car exploded. And he was like, oh. And he's like, but he's doing fine. Thanks for asking, Wyatt. I'm like, you already know Wyatt's a selfish little bitch. And I'm about to get on Wyatt's ass too. And then he was like, well, you know, well, how is he? He's like, well, he's getting there, but he still, you know, has some ways to go. And he was like, you know, and he's like, look, I want to come there and see him. You know, I really want to come and visit him. And then Jeffrey even pulled the bullshit. He's like, bitch, you just trying to get out the house. Stop. He's like, no, I'm going to talk to my dad about it. So then we see downstairs, Jim is writing Catherine about Hannah not giving the money. It's been 2 hours. And Catherine was like, well, you just got to wait for the money to get there. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm not worried about it. So, and then all of a sudden Wyatt comes down like, why didn't you tell me that David was in an explosion? And Jim was like, that was none of your concern. And he was like, I want to go see him. And he was like, and then Catherine was like, let the boy go, Jim. And she's like, really? You're gonna sit there and you're gonna put our son in danger like this? You really want your son to die? And then he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, look, the Malones are after him and they're going to kill him. He's not going any fucking where. And he was like, what do you mean, you know, the Malones are after me? That's bullshit. And he was like, who was the man in your cell? And he was like, what? He's like, yeah, the man in your cell. You don't remember? You know, the real big guy that was probably about to take you out? He's a Malone. They was about to kill you there, so anywhere you go, they are out to take you out. So, no, they're not going to rest until they kill you. And I'm like, let them kill his stupid ass, because, shit, I'm sick of Wyatt and his bullshit. Oh, dumb, junky motherfucker. He always got a big fucking mouth. He always talking shit. Acts like you, Jim, but doesn't even have the collateral nor the foundation to back it up. But then again, neither does Jim, because Jim has what he has because of Catherine. So, and then all of a sudden, so pretty much he was saying that, you know, so, you know, you're not going anywhere. And he was like, oh, really? You just got me following his ghost? Like, yeah. And he's like, and do you see me bothered? Take your ass upstairs, because you ain't going no fucking where. And then we see him going upstairs, and then he makes a step and then looks at the guards. I'm like, if you don't take your spoiled child ass over to your room, Wyatt, made me want to get a damn belt and beat his ass. Like, he's pretty much a man-child. And one thing I also peep is, just like how Veronica is with Jeffrey, Jim is the same way with Wyatt. He wants complete autonomy and control, and he will go through the end of the mile to do it. But the thing about it, Jim does love his son, even though it's to his detriment, because he never makes Wyatt pay for any of his mistakes. And she's like, so that's what it is? And so afterwards, you know, Catherine was like, so that's what it is? You're just going to keep him here, Jim? He's like, well, hey, it's keeping him alive. He's like, yeah, but will we be alive? I'm like, she got a damn point. So then we get the scene at the damn bank with Hannah and Benny. They want to wire their whole amount. They ask for the ID, and that damn Benny talking about somebody left my ID at home. I'm like, now you doing the bullshit. And she's like, if you don't, you put your damn ID. So she gives him the ID, and then she says, oh, I'll be back, you know. And then all of a sudden when he leaves, he's like, this is bullshit. And she's like, you better watch your mouth. He's like, and he was like, come on, Mom, that's $8 million. You really gonna give it all back? He's like, yeah, because it doesn't belong to us. It belongs to the criers. We're gonna give the money back to them. And he was like, look, man, like, you know, we could do a lot with that. And he's like, and she was like, I don't understand. Why you so against this? And she says, because it's ill-gotten. And because it's ill-gotten, it will not last you not even 5 years. It won't last. Because it's not, you know, you didn't earn it, you know, honestly. And then he's like, oh, man, you need to stop, you know, you need to stop, Mom. You always tripping. You know, life ain't no Bible verse. And I'm like, I'm trying to tell you, he's just like your daughter. You got two little, you know, little demons running around here doing all kind of havoc and bullshit. And then she's like, well, first of all, those Bible verses raised you, and don't you ever disrespect me like that. And then the next thing you know, when the lady comes back, Candace done showed up, and Candace was like, you really doing this? And Hannah was like, yes, we are. And she's like, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Benny. You really doing this? Don't sign it, Benny. You don't have to sign it. I'll split it with you 50-50. That's $4 million. And we literally see that Benny literally is in a situation where he has good and evil on both sides of him. And, you know, they both going back and forth. And then, you know, eventually, like, Hannah's like, you know what? You are so damn arrogant that you can come up in here and act like this money belongs to you and you ain't do a damn thing to earn it. You literally stole this off of somebody and you're acting like it belongs to you. But then she pretty much saying that, look, don't sign Benny. And there's like, at one point it was like, Benny. I was like, yeah. And I'm like, and you know damn well Benny is about some fuck shit. So you definitely knew Benny was gonna be on some bull. And, you know, and like afterwards, you know, finally Candace leaves, and then Hannah's like, you mean to tell me after everything she's done, you're still gonna listen to her? And he was like, I'm a grown man. I can do what I want to do. And she was like, excuse me? You know, first of all, when that lady gets back in here, you're gonna sign that paper and we're gonna get this thing over with. He's like, well, it's my choice. I don't have to sign it if I don't want. She's like, you're gonna sign this paper, boy, and I'm not gonna tell you again. So, and I'm like, and then we also see when she comes in there and asks for the signature, then when she asks for Benny's signature, Benny's sitting there looking all simple. I'm like, that motherfucker gonna reject it because he's being simple and Candace got to him, and because he also has, you know, he definitely has an angst for fuckery and bullshit. He's gonna pretty much not sign the shit, even though, you know, Jim was about to set your ass up, you know, because you had access to his money. Like, it's like, dude, you're gonna make things worse because you're not giving this money back, because Jim is crazy. The criers are ruthless, and they're ruthless when it comes to their money. So I'm like, these motherfuckers are tripping. I'm like, that damn Benny's a damn trip. And then we get the last damn scene, and I was wondering, because she enters into her room. Candace goes back to the Artesian. She enters into her room. Her room is dark, and she's like, is there somebody here? And then the next thing you know, we see motherfucking damn Charles is now president. He done pulled the damn Pellington, and he's standing right there in her room like, hi, Candace. And I'm like, and that's where the shit ended. I'm like, oh, that damn Charles. He is adamant that he's gonna fucking get Candace hell or high water. So we're gonna see how that's gonna play out. Because we definitely saw from the clips, she was like, oh, I'll call them. He's like, I had the whole place searched, and I had all the wires cut. You ain't gonna get no contact. The only person you're gonna contact to was me. And I'm like, ooh, that damn Charles is literally pulling every stop to get Candace, because he want Candace, like, as his, like, first lady. And he will do anything to make that happen. So that's what I have, y'all. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. I'd love to talk to you about it. But subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, follow me on all of my social networks. I have them all listed in the description box. Also, like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And I'll be back with the next episode of the Haves and the Have-Nots. We got 2 more episodes left, y'all, so it's really about to get crazy. So until next time, everybody, take care.